and Ben. Cool. Yeah, if you just want to introduce this one, and I also have, I'll move and Deputy Chair will second. Just, I think the names that came back to me were Councillor Gillen, Councillor Patterson-Hamlin, Councillor Winiata, Councillor Ferry, Councillor Baker were the ones who emailed me back.
Excuse Mr. Chair, is this for the sorry, I missed that. What's this one for? Oh, I did send you a text on this. Oh, okay. on the messages at the beginning of the meeting.
Oh, in the meeting chat? Sorry, I don't always see that. All good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kia ora. Yes, we're just here to talk about the re-establishment of the Waste Political Advisory Group and whether the committee want to support that. So this is a group that's been in place since about 2012, and it's been really useful to advise staff on the development and the implementation of the waste plan. We have recommended a range of councillors and local board members that are representative of different geographical areas of the city and different communities, and a member of Hukura to be part of that Waste Political Advisory Group. It meets quarterly or as required, and it is really useful as a sounding board on issues, but it is not a decision-making body. All decisions come back to this committee, of course. The Waste Political Advisory Group just provides an opportunity to make sure that our advice is really robust to the committee. All the materials presented to that group come back to the committee. Kia ora.
Kia ora, thank you. Right. Are there any questions at this stage? Member Wilson.
Thank you. This seems like a really good short item. Hey, look, what I'm wanting to understand is the value add, as you say, and also wanting to understand how you're capturing, your intention in capturing the mana whenua advice or engagement that you're having with them. It's not clear on the paper in terms of the MIS.
Yeah, so the intention of the group is to ensure that our advice to committee is really robust, and sometimes we talk about the input that we've received from mana whenua on various proposals and what we've heard from the public or from local boards to enable that we have a good discussion on various viewpoints and that the advice coming to the committee is wholesome. So when we run through some very time-pressured projects sometimes, the group is really useful where we don't have a lot of time to respond to submissions, for example, from central government. The group provides us with a forum to be able to ensure that we are capturing all of the views. We work in that short amount of time to collect the views of mana whenua, collect the views of local boards, talk them through at the Waste Political Advisory Group to inform any decision on that submission through the committee. So it is that sounding board to help us in our processes, make sure our processes and our engagement is robust, any gaps and opportunities in our implementation as well. So it is a good testing opportunity.
So it is clearly important that the mana whenua engagement that you're looking to do, other than relying on Hokura being in the politicals. So in terms of what that looks like, that was my second partai, what does that look like in terms of ensuring you have the widest group of mana whenua representing the views of mana whenua in lieu of there being any other, and also mātāwaka, how are you doing that?
So when we work through projects, we reach out to those groups for their input as relevant to those projects. So for our waste plan, we ensured that we reached out to mātāwaka groups working in that waste area in particular, also mana whenua, all mana whenua. We wrote to each iwi to invite engagement, and we went through the operational forums to seek input and reached out to the Tamaki Makaurau Mana Whenua Forum to see if they were interested in those conversations. So for each particular project, we reach out in an appropriate way, and then we bring the results of that outreach to the Waste Political Advisory Group if it's an agenda item. Does that answer the question?
It does and it doesn't. We need not get into the detail, but some of those forums, exceptionally one, doesn't exist anymore. I guess I do have some concerns in how informing, which is why the options you put there. How are you ensuring that you have the voices of mana whenua as it relates to Waste Political Advisory Group to say that in fact they have been, because it's not well represented in the MIS?
Kia ora, thanks for that. Just to clarify further that we do work with Ngā Mātarai and our own Māori Outcomes Lead to make sure that we are engaging and reaching out to the appropriate iwi groups as we work through our work program.
Yeah, because there's some big statements being made there about values, reflecting Māori values, but there is some deficiency in you being able to say how you are able to represent Māori values if you're reaching out to Ngā Mātarai. In terms of what we're trying to decide here, it needs to be some robustness around the fact you are capturing that for it to be assessed by the Political Advisory Group. So I guess that's at the nature of my partai. I am not seeing that is, but it's based on individual separate projects, not specifically a project that relates to this plan. Not sure how to progress that very well in the sense that it doesn't appear to have been done at this stage, but I would like some certainty before we talk about the composition.
Kia ora. I think, and I don't want to put words in anyone's mouths, but it's my understanding, or as I know there's a lot of good work done every time we have a plan review or also projects, but would my understanding be that anything that came to the panel, that we would have either previous views on that issue, EU group by EU group, or if it was at a level of a new plan or an updated plan, that you would have gone to each individual chair first. I think, and I won't speak for Member Wilson, but I think the concern is that the makeup of the group is not going to necessarily represent mana whenua views. So how can we be sure that when it moves from the group to a workshop to a committee, that we've already got those voices into the plan or the project or the change proposed? Is that the kind of...
Yes, it is. It has full representation if you, depending on what your option is, through the chair of adequate through local board, similarly through council, but not so much in terms of haukura, who actually aren't the representatives of mana whenua. Hence the concern I would have around what are you doing pre-getting there, because haukura has a different function, as you're well aware, than what mana whenua has. So that's why it's really important that there's robustness around who it is that you're engaging with before it comes to whatever the option is that we decide on. So I don't know what work needs to be done, but clearly if it's not done at the front end, so to speak, then it needs to be done at the front end before it comes to the Waste Political Advisory Group.
Through the chair, if I could just thank you for your comment, Member Wilson. I think it's really relevant. I might just ask Tanya and the team after this to talk with Caleb or somebody else and just plan out the way in which these are going to work and just make sure that from Haukura's perspective, we're getting the right kind of representation and therefore information and advice feeding into the work of both this political reference group, but also the committee ultimately, if that's okay with you.
Thank you, Megan. That would be appreciated.
Thank you. Oh, Councillor Philippa. All good. Councillor Gillan.
Thank you. Just a question about why you're recommending the involvement of local boards in this advisory group when it's very clearly a regional topic, and the justification seems to be in the report that it's to ensure geographic spread, but we can achieve that through councillors. So is there and I know it was done last term, but apart from that, what's the reasoning there, please?
It is just to get a bit more in-depth insight into the local communities that may be affected. So, for example, Aotea and Waiheke communities may have very different local concerns than other mainland communities. So getting more voices at that table just helps us ensure that we're getting those local board views appropriately reflected when we go through also to the committee for a decision.
Okay, my second question is how will this be reported back to this committee, what's been discussed in the recommendations of the advisory group, and will the advisory group meetings be open, will there be agenda, and will there be minutes? Thank you.
Kia ora, the advisory group is not open to the public, but all elected members are able to attend, of course. And the agenda and the materials put onto the agenda or tabled at the meeting are included in a report back to the committee.
Sorry, all elected members are able to attend, or all councillors are able to attend?
Good question. I'll just double check, or Sandra might double check.
I'm just looking at the terms of reference.
I don't think we've ever stopped a local board member attending, although the room might have an issue if all 170 do, 152 do, sorry.
Yeah, the terms of reference does actually say all elected members who are not members have the right to attend and listen. So if we just make sure that that's the case and that's what's adopted, that we do have that in calendars and that, so they're actually aware of it. And just a note while I've got the microphone, there does seem to be an error in the membership where local boards are listed twice. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll definitely send out notes, but we might have to do it based on requesting the link or something. That's what we did last time, where certain local boards wanted to join. There are local board members, but not sure we put it out. I don't know. We'll work out the finer details to ensure that everyone's welcome. Cool. Any other questions? Cool. Just get, and I guess for clarity for Councillor Gillen and for everyone, the minutes and the presentations were always appended to the and what was discussed in quite a lot of detail sometimes was always appended to the items and this committee's agendas, weren't they? Cool, thank you. And Councillor Baker has said he couldn't do this, but Councillor Philippine has said he's happy to jump in. So. Cool. Perfect. Well, we will let you move back from the table. Cool. Is there anyone who would like to debate this item? Cool. All those in favour? Any opposed? No. Perfect. And we might just try and do item 3 before the break, if that's all right. And then we'll go to lunch after